When you hear AI in schools, your mind probably jumps straight to the tech, right? Laptops, software, all that stuff. But what if the most important part of AI has nothing to do with code? What if it's really about people, about connection, and about building stronger, more resilient communities? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into.
And really, it all comes down to this one huge question. As we start bringing these incredibly powerful new tools into our schools, how do we make absolutely sure they build up and don't tear down the human relationships that are the very heart of education?
So, to even begin to answer that question, we have to start at the beginning. We have to talk about the foundation of any great school, the relationships inside it.
So what are we really talking about here? It's pretty simple, actually. It's all those positive, supportive connections between students and teachers, between staff and families. It's that feeling of being seen, of being understood, and knowing you belong. And look, these connections, they're not just random. They're built on this solid bedrock of core beliefs, a deep commitment to relationships, fostering real trust between everyone, and practicing empathy. This is the stuff we absolutely have to protect.
Okay, so here's where the challenge comes in. If we're not super intentional about it, new technology doesn't always build bridges. Sometimes it creates gaps, big ones.
And let's be clear, we're not talking about the old digital divide of who has a laptop and who doesn't. This is different. The new digital divide is all about who has access to knowledge. When some people understand AI and others are left in the dark, you create a massive gap in power, in agency, and in opportunity.
This knowledge gap, it leads to something we can call AI mysticism. It's when we treat AI like this magical, unknowable force that only geniuses can understand. And you know what that kind of mystery breeds? Fear, mistrust. And that stuff just eats away at the open, trusting relationships a school needs to thrive.
So how do we fix this? How do we bridge that divide? Well, it's not by running away from the technology. It's by building a sturdy bridge of shared understanding. And that bridge is called AI literacy. And just look at this. This lays out the whole roadmap. It shows that before you can even think about ethics or how to use AI well, or even build with it, you have to start at square one. You've got to have literacy, just a basic foundational understanding of how these systems work. It's the launch pad for everything else. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this actually play out in the real world? Let's look at how simply understanding AI can turn some pretty big challenges into amazing opportunities for connection.
Remember that AI mysticism we were just talking about? That fear of the unknown? Well, when students and teachers and parents all learn about AI together, it just pulls back the curtain. Suddenly, this scary, unknown thing becomes a cool puzzle you're all solving together. That turns anxiety into curiosity, and it builds incredible openness and trust. Okay, let's talk about a tough one. Bias. We know AI systems can reflect and even amplify human biases. But when you tackle this head-on, as a whole community, it becomes this incredibly powerful lesson. You're not just talking about tech anymore. You're having a real, meaningful conversation about fairness, about equity, about care. You're modeling the very values you want to see in your school.
This is a big one, right? With deepfakes and all this AI-generated content, how can you trust anything? Well, the answer is to give everyone the tools to spot it. When AI literacy is shared across the community, it's like building a collective immune system. It helps everyone protect that shared sense of trust from being infected by falsehoods. And this quote right here, it just hits the nail on the head. This whole thing falls apart if it's only for the tech-savvy kids or a few teachers. True AI literacy has to be for everyone. Students, staff, families, the whole shebang. That is the only way you make sure the entire community gets across that bridge together. No one left behind.
All right, so we've got the what. It's AI literacy for all. But now for the how. And believe it or not, it all comes down to the mindset we bring to the table.
And this, right here, is the absolute game changer. For too long, we've approached new tech from a place of fear, asking, what are the risks? How do we lock this down? We need to flip the script. We need a courage-based approach that asks, how can we explore this together? What do we value as a community? And how can this tool help us live those values? It is a total shift from fear to empowerment. So that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. This isn't just a job for the principal or the IT department. Building this bridge of understanding, it starts small. It starts with one conversation. So think about it. What's the very first step you can take to start building that AI-ready, relationship-first community right where you are?